Boom. Hello and good evening. I was going to say afternoon, but I meant evening. Today we'll be looking at XRP against the US dollar. So starting off within the daily time frame, just to start off, as you guys know, this is not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. I am not telling you to buy, nor am I telling you to sell, nor am I telling you what to buy or what to sell, or when to sell or when to buy. This is just me giving my opinion as to what I think what is going to happen. Anyways, we're within the daily time frame. Let's pull out some rectangles. So I want to draw out some areas of support and resistance within the daily time frame. I will do weekly as well, but we are quite bullish when you're looking at the graph as a whole. Boom. Coolio. Keep it very simple. As you can see, we have strong bullish momentum within the daily time frame. And from the end of 2024, start of 2025, we have created higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, slight consolidation, but we didn't break out of the higher low and continue to grow, right? Creating more higher highs and higher lows. Very basic standard. We're going to move in the 4-hour time frame. Actually, let me just go back to the daily time frame. We can clearly see a long wick has been created here. Now this long wick indicates a strong bullish pattern taking place very soon. And what supports is that we have a bullish fair value gap, created here. Let's draw that out in a different color. This is within the daily time frame. Yeehaw. Yippee-ki-yay, son. As you can see here, right? We've got another one slightly below it. All right, it's another bullish fair value gap. Our price just about hit it, or just got into that fair value gap, right? Not too bad, but is what it is, right? And again, here we saw another bullish, um, long wick that we see here. So again, that also falls within this fair value gap, as you can see, to which I'm not going to identify, but clearly we are seeing a bullish trend at the moment. We're going to go into the 4-hour time frame. Cool. The reason why we started off on the daily time frame, because we want to give ourselves an idea as to where we are heading as an overall picture. But as you can clearly see, when you're zooming in, this fair value gap matters more, to be honest. Within the daily time frame, we have one within the 4-hour time frame. However, our price clearly didn't go in when you zoom in, so that's fine. However, we can clearly see, price slowly increasing towards the upside with a strong level of resistance here at the top, with quite a bit of liquidity sitting at top. So the likelihood of price going up, where's my brush, growing up here, maybe grabbing liquidity here, because clearly we've got quite a bit of liquidity sitting here, grabbing that liquidity, moving down and up, or going completely up, right? As liquidity is sitting here, grabbing that liquidity, creating a fake out, and then going back down. Because one, we have a strong level of resistance at the top. Understanding this though, the likelihood of price go back, take away my drawings, the likelihood of price doing all of this, but going back down within this fair value gap here. Let me just draw out that fair value gap properly. Let me just remove this bad boy here. Well, not really remove, but you can clearly still identify it here. It's fairly small. I wouldn't really focus on that too much, but we do have a miniature one here, right? We do have a miniature one here, right? So the fact that price essentially going down here into this fair value gap, or sorry, price creating a fake out, grabbing liquidity, going down, slight consolidation, and going within this fair value gap, and then moving back up to the upside is really high. That is for a variety of reasons. As I mentioned before, we do have quite a bit of liquidity sitting on top, where price will go up, grab liquidity, move down, and then sort of go into this fair value gap. Now, this fair value gap is very, very important. The reason why I've identified this fair value gap is simply because of this. One, previously, as you can clearly see, uh, during the 27th of Jan 2025, we have had a bearish fair value gap created right here. Now, this bearish fair value gap was sort of overridden by another fair value gap, to which I've identified here, which clearly means that this bullish fair value gap, or this fair value gap here, takes more of a priority than this fair value gap here, simply because this one comes after this one, right? So the likelihood of price going up, grabbing liquidity, moving back down after a bit of consolidation into this fair value gap, and then moving back up is really high, you know. Or even then, if price wanted more liquidity for whatever reason, the likelihood of it going further down and grabbing liquidity here and moving back up is also high. However, looking within the daily time frame, we do have quite a bit of, I like to say, a bit of data, a little bit of data to indicate, you know, price moving upwards with maybe a short-term decline. So essentially, yeah, XRP is quite bullish at the moment, in my opinion. However, you know, this is the highest it's ever been. So essentially, the fact that XRP continuing to rise will eventually have to come to a stop, right? Not in the long term, of course, but you know, until the market slows down, we will see price start to depreciate and eventually come to levels down here, which is within the $1.73 mark, simply because we do have fair value gaps here with quite a bit of liquidity. And this is clearly a bullish fair value gap, clearly because um, of the bullish green candlesticks we currently have here. We've got quite a few smaller fair value gaps sitting here, and of course, price going within this range is very high in the near future. So yeah, that's my sort of analysis, looking within the daily and 4-hourly time frame. I'm just going to remove all my sort of drawings. We're going to go back into the 4-hour time frame, right, just to give us a better idea to what I'm saying. Create. Remember, price is within the range, guys, here. So it isn't supposed to be exactly dot to dot, but sitting within the range. So clearly, as I said before, within the daily time frame, you know, price, you know, continuing to move up, it can come down to grab liquidity as normal by creating a fake out and then slowly moving back up, right, and eventually being squeezed out, to which it will break out or drop. But of course, in the when the market starts to slow down, we will see price start to drop significantly, as I mentioned earlier on, and falling within the $1.77 range or so, to even to the $1.23 range, to even the 96 cents range. So yes, so that's that. If we were to then go into, let's go back to the 4-hourly time frame to what we are seeing. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. Let's go within the 1-hour time frame. Clearly, as you can see, as I mentioned before, there is a strong level of resistance sitting here, right? And clearly, and again, this is a range. So this is a range, right? So it's not exactly dot to dot, but price going in here, grabbing liquidity, and then moving back down is very high. We do have previous fair value gaps that have been met, but then again, like I said, there is quite a bit of liquidity to which we must take into consideration. Going into the 50-minute time frame, and again, through the 50-minute time frame, as I mentioned before, price, if I was to look back, we do see bearish fair value gaps within the 50-minute time frame previously. So we've got one here, which price did go in and meet. We've got another one here to which price hasn't gone in yet. So I will sort of draw that bad boy out. Let me just color that red. Cool, draw this bad boy out. So clearly price hasn't fully gone in there yet and met that order block. Oh, sorry, it has actually. So it going again within this range, grabbing that liquidity and moving back down, fine, right? But again, as I mentioned before, when you grab liquidity, movement down is very high, and this is again supported by further levels of fair value gap, which is bullish, right within the $2.85 to 81 range. Let's change the color here, but we can easily identify it as such. So price, draw my pen. So yeah, price continuing to go up, grabbing liquidity, going to this fair value gap or so, as well as meeting the daily resistance level, which is very, very strong, as I've shown here, and then eventually coming back down, eventually here, it's very high, right? Or even more, I would say more short term, not short term, but much more quicker drops coming into this fair value gap here that I've identified here, which is quite bullish for it to then go back up to the upside. So yeah, XRP currently is fairly bullish in my opinion as to where it's going. However, take caution if you're buying, selling, or trading, or whatever it may be you're doing. And that is simply because what we can clearly see here is, yes, we see bullish patterns, but this is the highest XRP has been. So there are a lot of sellers waiting to sell once they've hit a certain range. And clearly we've seen this here within, back in mid-Jan 2025. Highest has been, which is around $3.40. What has happened? Price completely start to gradually go down and eventually end up around the $2.62 range, which is quite a big drop within a couple of days, right? That's around 11 days or so. So a lot of sellers are currently still waiting within this range, sitting above here as well. So the price again, yes, it's going to go up definitely once it's acquired certain fair value gaps and liquidity. But once it's grabbed that liquidity, there are a lot of sellers sitting right here ready to sell for the price to deplete again. And of course, we'll see future fair value that's being created with pockets of liquidity for people to take advantage of. But yeah, this is my analysis of XRP. Take it easy, don't be cheesy, and yeah, that's about it. Yeah, if you're new to this channel, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.